for long enough, the old Clarkson saying, I guess. Does that run through for you tonight?
Yeah, we just we ran out of gas. Unfortunately, it was an arm wrestle, and we put out 3 high quality quarters of contested ball against a very good contested ball team, and we ran out of gas.
How much can be put on the compression of the season for that, or was that something, ability or something else?
We're off a 4-day break, but that's challenging for all teams. We made 9 changes in the end. We had Smith going out late. That gave us 9, so we had 9 fresh guys in. But in that as well, we've got 2 debutants who I was really, really pleased with the way they played. I thought Scholl was rock solid. Schoenberg battled away inside, embraced the contest that it was against some high quality opposition in Oliver, Viney, Petracca. It was a good initiation for him. And a good lesson in the end for our group on, I guess, the level you need to be at to put 4 quarters out there.
I was about to say, you said you ran out of gas. Are you talking physical gas or mental gas?
I'd say physical mainly, but there's definitely a mental side to it. When you're 12 points down at 3/4 time and you feel like you've had a fair bit of the play, and we up to that point statistics were reasonably balanced. I thought we had our opportunities front of centre, for certain parts of the 3 quarters. I thought they had their opportunities as well. It was a really close game. It was a good battle. There's no doubt when they got 1 or 2 quick goals and bust out of centre bounce or bust out of stoppage. There's a mental side to that for both teams. They get a lift. The brain's a powerful tool, but there's no doubt they got a lift, and we, if anything, maybe dropped off 1% or 2, and that's too much against a good side.
Yeah, clearance count's been a bugbear for you all year, and yet 3/4 time, I think you were leading, and then in the last quarter was just a flood nose open on that front.
Yeah, we got centre bounce back. We actually won the centre bounce in the end, and that's even with the last quarter. So that's something we've put a bit of time into, because it's been our Achilles heel for the whole season. But in the end, we lost -14 in the last quarter clearance. That means you're spending a bit of time in your back half, and I think it was -500 metres from stoppage, and contested possession -15 in the last quarter, and we lose that by 22. So that was, you come up against a side like Melbourne, and they pride themselves on it. They're very, very good at it. If you're within maybe 10 in contested ball, then you're a chance in the game. It's a good mark to aim for, and we were there for 3 quarters, and we weren't able to just stick it out.
So what's that say, Matthew, about the defensive systems that you wanted to build on as the base?
Yeah.
How did they hold up then in that last quarter when they tested to the limit?
Yeah, it's hard to talk about your system of defence when you're talking clearance. A system of defence is more of your full ground and how you're able to own the game in your front half. And I felt we had periods in the game, and we spoke post-game already as a group about how good that felt to actually see some of our system out there in defence. And when I talk system, I talk more of your ability to hold it in your front half and the way you structure up with that. We had our chances and we didn't capitalise, but in the last quarter, what we're talking about there, from clearance, you're talking about the ability to compete one-on-one and win your battles, and we weren't able to do that. Now, that's tough as a backman too, when Oliver's charging out of that stoppage 1v none, and you're either forced to press and there's an overlap. And so, as I said, credit where it's due. They were very good in that last quarter, and they got clearance going. It wasn't so much a defensive system that cost us, it was our ability to win the contest.
So when you've gone decidedly younger for this game compared to the previous one, not the week before, how much hope does it give you that you've got a young group there that you can build something with? Yeah,
that's, I guess, if you have a smile as a coach after a game like that, it's a short one, because you're really disappointed with the way we finished. But there were some real positives with what I saw today with a younger group in. 2 debutants that I thought stood up and played the way we want to play. We had a slightly different balance, a slightly younger group in other areas as well. So we were, we're pleased in that respect that some of these young players are showing us what hopefully will be a bright future. And at the moment we're doing it tough, and we're 0-10, and it'll make it all the more sweeter that we're actually experiencing this hard time when we do actually turn it around and we play some really good footy and get wins on the board.
Let's track back to selection, I guess, with the senior blokes, with Gibbs, Atkins, and Nye. Is that an indication now that you're going to play the youth ahead of those guys? Are their cards marked, I guess, to some extent?
No, I mean, we came into this period knowing that there was management needed, but we also came in with a style and a philosophy about how we want to play our football, and that involves 3 really key areas. And if you're not able to bring those areas, week in, week out, then we have no decision but not to play you in our side until you're actually able to work on those. So we're pretty open and honest with the group at where we sit, and some guys are working on some areas. It doesn't mean they don't have their own weapons that they're bringing and they're using really well, but we want to be a really well-rounded team, and we want to compete week in, week out. So we need all players playing the style of footy we're after.
Are you confident you're going to win a game this season?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I mean we've been in a number of games where we had our opportunities. I would say 3 or 4 games so far this season, we're well and truly in the game right up to three-quarter time. Now, it does get tougher and tougher, for a group when you talked about the mental side of the game. It can become hard for a group when you are losing the way we are, but we just come back to what it is that we live by. What are our values as a group? And we didn't quite put them out there for 4 quarters today. Whether that was due to fatigue, whether that was, we dropped away slightly. It can be, as I said before, it can be such a small margin. We've got work to do on being stronger, though, in those moments and being able to hang on and push through it and fight back.
Matthew, you got a preference on how you move across territory? Would you prefer to kick long or run into it with handball?
It depends on the scenario, Rich. I'd love for us to take the game on. We trained for that, and if the opposition make a mistake, we'll look to punish them in those areas. But tonight was an interesting game because there wasn't a lot of that available. Melbourne's, when they had us in positions, they defended reasonably well. We were forced to kick longer down the line tonight than what we would have liked. I'm sure most sides want to play faster through the corridor and take the game on. We definitely want that in our game. We lost one early today, and we've been in that situation a fair bit this year, unfortunately. What that does mean is there are times where we will intentionally not go as fast, knowing that if this game turns into a game of basketball up and back, we're going to struggle to run that out, with that one less player. But by no means tonight did we come in with a mindset to go slower and down the line. And we don't do that anyway. We'll come in and look to take the opposition on.
You've had a fair bit of time now on the seat to be a senior coach, and there was a fair bit of debate what was going to be built around you. Now you know what you need. Have you got a model in mind now as to, do you need that senior assistant? Do you need different skill sets in a coach's box? Have you thought that one out yet?
Yeah, we have. I mean, right from day one, we were looking at what the next... Well, I mean, you plan out for... You get optimistic as a coach. You plan out for 20 years, Rich. But no, definitely looking at the where are we going? What direction are we taking? We've done a fair bit of work on that over the last 6 months on exactly what it looks like in 2021 and 2022. But that's changing all the time with soft cap adjustments. COVID's thrown a fair bit of interest around what our football departments look like. So, talking simply from a senior assistant point of view, the game's now changing. We're expecting so much more from our line coaches now because we've lost, 2 or 3 development coaches. So a line coach nowadays needs to be able to not only look at structure and game plan and so on, but needs to actually develop a larger group of players. They're working with 14 odd players nowadays instead of 7. So
yes, no on senior assistant.
I don't think it's either, Rooch. It might be just a different role. It'll be a line coach who has a really high skill set. Now we've got some good coaches around me at the moment that are working well. We've got our challenges like every side does at this point. Every football department, because we're down on numbers, and we still have a squad of 44.
So if you're in a major rebuild, you need good recruiters, you need good development coaches, and you've got a soft cap that's coming down on you. So how do you manage that?
Same as every club will. We'll find the best. Yeah, we'll look and we'll find the best people we possibly can, and we'll develop the people from within to become the best people that they can.
How's he going? Because I know he had a concussion earlier in the year.
Yeah.
How did he wind up?
He was well. He's pretty good post game in the rooms, but obviously we've got to monitor that and be really careful. He's had, as you said, he's had a number of concussions. But he was in good spirits post game. At half time. I had a chat to him at half time, and post game he was up and about with the players. So fingers crossed he'll be fine.
Thoughts on the tackle?
It's a hard one from where I am. Obviously, he's a lighter body. He's hit the ground pretty hard. But
I'll just check on Brody Smith too. When did he fail his fitness test? Was that today or?
Yeah, so Brody was this morning, and that was we were pushing with Brody. He was 50-50 coming in today, probably 40-60 to be honest, and it's just bruised and battered. He got it early in the game last week, and it was trying to soccer a ball off the ground. He just took a knock to his knee, so we didn't want to take any risk there. So we made that decision around lunch, just prior to lunch.
So confident for next week?
Yeah, well, the decision was made more about let's give him a 10-day break, and hopefully over the next couple of days he improves it further.